There is a belief also in South Africa that missionaries have come to colonize our minds. If I am colonized in my mind in terms of the Bible, to believe that it is wrong to worship ancestors, it is wrong to preach health, wealth, prosperity gospel, then I accept my colonization. My name is Mzo Mhlongo. I am married with 4 children. I was raised up as a Catholic, but I wasn't saved. When our boys were younger, they asked us, why aren't we going to church like the families around us? That felt like an indictment, and we started looking for a church. On our hunt for a church, we ended up going to a wrong church. If I say wrong, I can call it a cult. So we stopped. After we stopped, we said we should pray about finding a church. After some time, I went to this car wash. I met a man who shared the gospel in a way that I had never heard before. The following day, we went to this church. The fellowship and the worship was different. It felt like a real thing we had been looking for. After 2 years, this pastor was preaching about sin, how sin separates men from God. It was like he was talking about me, he was talking to me. I realized that day that my own efforts will never save me. That's how I got saved. As part of our spiritual growth, my wife and I decided to listen to Christian radio stations. And we listened to Vuma FM. That's where Pastor Dennis was teaching. And we began to listen regularly. Eventually, I called him. I said, I've been listening to you for some time. I wish to teach the way you teach and understand the Bible the way you do. He laughed. He laughed and said, it's not me. It's the Bible. It's God talking, not me. But he said, there are Bible classes, but we're towards the end of the year. So if you want to go, you can go the next year. The following year, I joined the classes, and the first class was on the story of hope. It was an eye-opener. It taught me the continuity of the Bible. I loved it to a point that I couldn't wait to share it. One day in our men's fellowship, I shared what I had learned in class on the story of hope. But after the session, the pastor called me and told me that what I shared was foreign doctrine and they don't approve of it. After that, it felt like I was living in 2 worlds. So I wanted to leave, but I didn't know where to go.
We have churches all over our communities. Right down the road, there's a number of churches, but the problem that we see and the problem that we're facing with them is that they're not Bible teaching, Bible believing. They're teaching a way to get to God is through health, wealth, prosperity gospel, or they're teaching appeasing the ancestors. And so, yeah, they believe in Jesus, but they're also teaching other false things.
Pastor Dennis offered a solution to my problem. He said, brothers, you are studying these truths, and you need to find a platform to share these truths. After praying, we agreed to start a new platform, and we agreed that that platform will be a Zulu sound biblical teaching church. When Sound Doctrine Fellowship started, there were about 16 of us, led by Pastor Dennis Nkosi. Now the church has grown to about 60 members, and plus minus 99% is through a radio program on Vuma FM. I've seen the effects of that. And I can't wait for a day where the church itself will be self-sufficient so that it can plant other churches.
Our team is wrestling with some questions like, how do we reach our children and youth with the gospel of Christ? How do we counsel these men and women who are really hurting? How do we continue to equip and empower our local men and women to be the leaders in the local churches and launching new ministries? We desperately need new teammates. Please prayerfully consider joining our team.